back to Mathematics with Usman. This is the second video in my series on the topic coordinate geometry, and today we are going to discuss gradient of a straight line. Students, there are two main objectives that we have to attain in today's tutorial. Number one, finding the gradient of a straight line. Number two, calculating gradient of a straight line if we are given with the coordinates of 2 points on it. Students, first let's discuss what a gradient is. Remember, the steepness of a line is called a gradient, and we represent the gradient with the letter m, and that's m is a small one. Students, let us consider a Cartesian plane. One of the line is the horizontal line and the second line is the vertical line. And we are given with the line AB like this. If we need to calculate the gradient of this line, we just have to look for 1 unit in horizontal direction, how much the line is moving in the vertical direction. Just look over here. For 1 unit in x direction, this line AB is moving 2 units in the vertical direction. 1 unit in x, 2 units in y. And same goes for the third part of it. 1 unit in horizontal direction, and there are 2 units of it in the vertical direction. So the gradient of this line AB is equals to positive 2. Let us now consider another line which is named as CD in front of you. Now, if you look at it carefully and we move 1 unit in x direction, this line is, instead of increasing, it is falling down by 1, 2, 3 and 4 units in the y direction. So the gradient of this line is again 4, but in the negative sense, so it is minus 4. Look for this 1 unit in x direction and it is moving 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 units in the vertical negative direction. Now students, let us consider another case in which the line is totally horizontal, like the line EF in your diagram. Now if we look 1 unit in x direction, which is this one, there is no change of this line EF in the vertical direction. 1 unit in x and no change in y. 1 unit in x and there is no change of it in y. Hence, the gradient of this line EF is equals to 0. So every line that is horizontal, it means that the steepness of this line is not there. So the gradient of this line will be considered as 0. There can be another scenario in which the line is totally vertical, like the one represented by the letter GH. Now students, if you look at it, this is the line which is having a gradient that you can't calculate. So we say that the vertical line is always having the gradient that is undefined or infinity, while EF line, which is horizontal, its gradient is always equals to 0. Students, there is a method to calculate these gradients, and we call this the formula of the gradient. And remember, the formula for the gradient is equals to rise over run, how much the line is having its vertical distance divided by its horizontal distance. Or in other words, you can simply say, take the difference of its y coordinates and put them in the numerator, and take the difference of its x coordinates and put them in the denominator. Now let us consider the gradient of the line AB. If you look at the Cartesian plane, the coordinate of A, it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Minus 5 x coordinate, 1, 2, and negative 2 is its y coordinate. So A is having the coordinates minus 5, minus 2, and B is having coordinates minus 2, 4. Students, just name these coordinates alphabetically. Name the x coordinate of A as x1 and the x coordinate of B as x2. name the y coordinate of B as y1 and the y coordinate of B as y2. Now use the formula difference of y over the difference of x. Difference of y means y2 minus y1 and difference of x means x2 minus x1. So the gradient represented by the letter m will be equals to 4, which is y2, minus y1, which is minus 2, x2, which is minus 2 for the point B, and x1, which is minus 5 for the point x1 of A. Now if we take alternatively y1 minus y2, then you have to keep in order. Take x1 minus x2. You will get the same answer in both the cases. So the gradient of the line proved by this algebraic expressions or the formula is also equals to 2 as we discussed earlier. Now consider the gradient of the line CD. Take the points on it, and the point C is 1, 4 and the point D is 3, 4, minus 4. Now if we want to take the gradient of this line, we will simply take the difference of the y values and put them in the numerator, which is minus 4, and take the difference of the x values, which is 3 for D and 1 for C. Then we will get the gradient m, which is equals to minus 4 divided by 3 minus 1, and the answer is equals to minus 4. Now students, for the horizontal line, which is EF, it is having the E vertex minus 5, 2 and the F vertex 5, 2. Take the difference of the y coordinates, which is 2 minus 2. Take the difference of the x coordinate, which is x2, 5 and x1 is minus 5. So 5 minus 5 will give you 10. 2 minus 2 will give you 0. So the gradient of this line is equals to 0. Now for the last one, which is GH, a vertical line. We are having the coordinates of G, 4 minus 4, and the coordinates of H, 4 in x direction, 4 in the vertical direction. And the difference of the y coordinates, 4 minus 4, that will give you 8. The difference of the x coordinates, 4 minus 4, this will give you 0. And any numerator divided with the 0 denominator is always an undefined number, and we are representing it with infinities. So the gradient of the vertical line GH is undefined or infinity. Students, let's further apply this formula of gradient, how to solve the problems if we ought to find the numbers that are sometimes unknown in it. Just look at it, the gradient of the line joining the points 9a and 2a, 1 is 2a. Find the possible values of a. In this question, students, you are given with the 2 points. One is having the coordinates x as 9 and y as a. And the second one is having the x coordinate to a and the y coordinate is 1. And they are lying on the line whose gradient is also given as 2 divided by a. And you have to calculate the unknown. What we have to do here, we will simply use the formula m is equals to the difference of the y coordinates y2 minus y1 and the difference of the x coordinates x2 minus x1. Now we are given with most of the values, in fact all of the values. What is m? We replace m with 2 by a. What is y2? We will call this one as y2 and this a as y1. So now substituting the values in the formula, 2 over a will be equals to y2 minus y1, that is 1 minus a, and x2 minus x1, that is 2 minus 9. So we will get 2 times of 2a minus 9 and a into 1 minus a. Now if we arrange this algebraic equation, we are going to get a quadratic equation in the form a square plus 3a minus 18 equals to 0. Now we know that we can factorize it by simple factorization method. Just look for two numbers which when multiplied should give you minus 18 and when added should give you 3. And the pair is very simple, which is 6a minus 3a. Now take the pair of the first two and then take the pair of the second ones. A is common in the first pair, so you will get a plus 6. Minus 3 is common in the second one, and we will get a plus 6 equals to 0. If we take a plus 6 common, we will have two factors. A plus 6 times a minus 3 equals to 0. Now these two are multiplied and the answer is 0. So either this has to be 0 or this has to be 0. So a plus 6 equals to 0 or a minus 3 is equals to 0, and this will give us the two different values of a. That was what the demand of the question. And students, this brings us to the end of today's tutorial. I hope it has some significance into your mathematical concepts. As always, thank you very much for watching Mathematics with Usman. See you in another tutorial. Till then, it's goodbye.